We'd like to welcome everyone to our Sunday reading Krishna book to Srila Prabhupada. And as we always do, let us offer our respectful obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and to each other. Nama Om Vishnavadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Paskachade Satarne, and to each other Vanchakalpadubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, my dear devotees, today is the very first day of Purushottam Mass, and as is recommended, we chant the chapter 15 of the Bhagavad-Gita as it is. We chant Jagannathastakam, and many devotees chant Chorastakam every day during the Purushottam Mass. So we will chant for 10 minutes the first chapter, the 15th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, the English verses. You can follow along with the subtitles at the bottom, and we'll just chant the English, pass the book around. Okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We can do it together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad-Gita, as it is, chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas." Second.
The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society.
Third sloka, huh?
Yeah.
The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with a weapon of detachment. Therefore, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial.
15.5. 15.5. One who is free from illusion, false prestige, and false association, who understands the eternal, who is done with material lust and is freed from the duality of happiness and distress, and who knows how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attains to that eternal kingdom. 6.
15:6, 6th verse. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world.
Say the verse 15, whatever it is. Try to go quickly also. Here.
15:7.
The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind.
Uh, 15:8. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another.
The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects.
Chapter 15:10. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this.
15:11. The endeavoring transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to.
15:12. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me.
I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables.
15:14. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff.
Oh, one of Prabhupada's favorite verses. I am seated, 15:15. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
15:16. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible.
15:17. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them.
15:18. Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and the Vedas as the Supreme Person.
15:19. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharat.
15:20. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is the disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection.
That was the last one.
That's the last one? So did it say thus ends the 15 times last one? So thus ends the chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person, Purushottam Yoga. So now we will finish the description of the author of Krishna book, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So as we mentioned last week, we finished 4 times around Krishna book. Now we're starting our 5th time on this auspicious occasion of Purushottam Yoga. In 1968, Srila Prabhupada sent 3 devotee couples to bring Krishna consciousness to UK, or the United Kingdom. At first, these devotees were cared for by Hindu families who appreciated their mission. But soon, they became well known in London for the public chanting in Oxford Street. A headline in the Times announced, "Krishna chant startles London." But the Maha Mantra soon became popular. Former Beatle George Harrison, who had known Srila Prabhupada and the chanting before the devotees came to England, wanted to help. He arranged to produce a recording of the mantra on the Beatles' Apple label. It reached the top 10 in Britain and number 1 in some other countries.
When Srila Prabhupada arrived in England, he was the guest of John Lennon at his estate at Tittenhurst. While work was progressing on the temple in Bloomsbury near the British Museum, in 1969, Srila Prabhupada opened the temple, the first Radha Krishna temple in Europe. The movement grew from strength to strength. Once again, George Harrison offered to help by donating a beautiful mock Tudor manor house and estate in the Hertfordshire, now named Bhakti-Vedanta Manor. It is the society's name, training center in Britain. New devotees of Krishna soon became highly visible in all the major cities around the world by their public chanting and distribution of Srila Prabhupada books of Vedic knowledge. They began staging joyous cultural festivals throughout the year and serving millions of plates of delicious foods offered to Krishna, known as prasad, throughout the world. As a result, ISKCON has significantly influenced the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. The late A.L. Basham, one of the world's leading authorities on Indian history and culture, wrote, "The Hare Krishna movement arose out of next to nothing and in less than 20 years has become known all over the West. This is an important fact in the history of the Western world."
In just 12 years, despite his advanced age, Srila Prabhupada circled the globe 14 times on lecture tours that took him to 6 continents. Yet this vigorous schedule did not slow his prolific literary output. His writings constitute a veritable library of Vedic philosophy, religion, literature and culture. Indeed, Srila Prabhupada's most significant contribution is his books. Highly respected by academics for their authority, depth and clarity, they are used as textbooks in numerous university courses.
Gary Gillard, a professor at Oxford University's Department of Philosophy, wrote of them, "These texts are to be treasured. No one of whatever faith or philosophical persuasion who Read these books with an open mind, can care to be moved and impressed. And Dr. Larry Sim, Dean of the College of Arts and Science at Bucknell University, wrote, Prabhupada's personal fight gave him real authority. He exhibited complete command of the scriptures, an unusual depth of realization, and an outstanding personal example because he actually lived what he taught. His writings have been translated into over 80 languages. The Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, established in 1972 to publish the works of His Divine Grace, has thus become the world's largest publisher of books in the field of Indian religion and philosophy. By the end of 1991, 450 million copies had been sold. Before he passed away on the 14th November 1977, Srila Prabhupada had guided ISKCON and seen it grow to a worldwide confederation of more than 100 ashrams, schools, temples, institutes, and farm communities. Hare Bol.
Yes.
Start. Preface. You can start the
Prelude.
Say again?
Ah.
So, so now we're going to read the preface in the beginning of the Krishna book. Srila Prabhupada concluded his Krishna book in 1970 in Los Angeles, and he wasn't so sure how long he was going to be on this planet. So much is in Krishna book: adventure, anger, love, romance, battling. It's all there in Krishna book with beautiful philosophy. So now we'll start with the preface that Srila Prabhupada wrote.
Fifth time.
This is, yes, Pritam Mara is reminding me. This is our 5th time around Krishna book. And sometimes people ask, why are you reading it over and over again? And Srila Prabhupada gave the answer to that, because this information, this transcendental knowledge is ever fresh, ever fresh. And we all experience that. We hear the stories, the pastimes, many times, but each time it's almost like new, and each time we learn something new, because our consciousness changes. So we'll read Srila Prabhupada. He dedicated Krishna book to his father, Gaur Mohan De, 1849 to 1930. A pure devotee of Krishna who raised me as a Krishna-conscious child from the beginning of my life. In my boyhood ages, he instructed me how to play the mridanga. He gave me Radha Krishna Vigraha to worship, and he gave me Jagannath Rath Yatra to duly observe the festival as my childhood play. He was kind to me and imbibed from him, and I imbibed from him the ideas later on solidified by my spiritual master, Eternal Father. So nice. Okay.
Preface. You start preface.
Preface. निवृत्तर्षे रूपगीयमानात् भवोषधात् श्रोत्रमनोभिरामात् क उत्तमश्लोक गुणानुवादात् पुमान् विरज्येत विना पशुघ्नात्. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.1.4. In the Western countries, when someone sees the cover of a book like Krishna, he immediately asks, who is Krishna? Who is the girl with Krishna? Etc. The immediate answer is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How is that? because he conforms in exact detail to descriptions of the Supreme Being, the Godhead. In other words, Krishna is the Godhead because he is all attractive. Outside the principle of all attraction, there is no meaning to the word Godhead. How is it one can be all attractive? First of all, if one is very wealthy, if he has great riches, he becomes attractive to the people in general. Similarly, if someone is very powerful, he also becomes attractive. And if someone is very famous, he also becomes attractive. And if someone is very beautiful or wise or unattached to all kinds of possessions, he also becomes attractive. So, from practical experience, we can observe that one is attractive due to wealth, power, fame, beauty, wisdom, and renunciation. One who is in possession of all six of these opulences at the same time, who possesses them to an unlimited degree, is understood to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These opulences of the Godhead are delineated by Parashar Muni, a great Vedic authority.
We have seen many rich persons, many powerful persons, many famous persons, many beautiful persons, many learned and scholarly persons, and persons in the renounced order of the life unattached to the material possessions. But we have never seen any one person who is unlimitedly and simultaneously wealthy, powerful, famous, beautiful, wise, and unattached, like Krishna. In the history of humanity, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a historical person who appeared on this earth 5,000 years ago. He stayed on this earth for 125 years and played exactly like a human being, but his activities were unparalleled from the very moment of his appearance to the moment of his disappearance. Every one of his activities is unparalleled in the history of the world, and therefore anyone who knows what we mean by Godhead will accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to the Godhead, and no one is greater than him. That is the importance of the familiar saying of God is great.
There are various classes of men in the world who speak of God in different ways. But according to the Vedic literatures and according to the great acharyas, they are authorized persons versed in the knowledge of God in all ages, like Acharya Sankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Vishnu Swami, Lord Chaitanya, and all their followers by disciplic succession, all unanimously agree that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as we, the followers of Vedic civilization, are concerned, we accept the Vedic history of the whole universe, which consists of different planetary systems called Swargaloka, or the higher planetary system Martyaloka, or the intermediary planetary system, and Patalaloka, or the lower planetary system. The modern historians of this earth cannot supply historical evidences of events that occurred before 5,000 years ago. And the anthropologists say that 40,000 years ago, Homo sapiens had not appeared on this planet because evolution had not reached that point. But the Vedic histories, such as the Puranas and Mahabharata, relate human histories which extend millions and billions of years into the past.
For example, from these literatures we are given the histories of Krishna's appearances and disappearances millions and billions of years ago. In the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that both he and Arjuna had had many births before, and that he, Krishna, could remember all of them, but Arjuna could not. This illustrates the difference between the knowledge of Krishna and that of Arjuna. Arjuna might have been a very great warrior, a well-cultured member of the Kuru dynasty, But after all, he was an ordinary human being. Whereas Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the possessor of unlimited knowledge. Because he possesses unlimited knowledge, Krishna has a memory that is boundless. Krishna's knowledge is so perfect that he remembers all the incidents of his appearances, some millions and billions of years in the past. But Arjuna's memory and knowledge are limited by time and space, for he is an ordinary human being. In the 4th chapter, Krishna states that he can remember instructing the lessons of the Bhagavad-Gita some millions of years ago to the sun god Vrindavan.
Nowadays, it is a fashion of the atheistic class of men to try to become God by following some mystic process. Generally, the atheists claim to be God by dint of their imagination or their meditational prowess. Krishna is not that kind of God. He doesn't become God by manufacturing some mystic process of meditation, nor does he become God by undergoing the severe austerities of the mystic yogic exercises. Properly speaking, he never becomes God because he is the Godhead in all circumstances. Within the prison of the maternal uncle, Kamsa, where his father and mother were confined, Krishna appeared outside his mother's body as the four-handed Vishnu Narayan. Then he turned himself into a baby and told his father to carry him to the house of Nanda Maharaj and his wife Yashoda. When Krishna was just a small baby, the gigantic demoness Putana attempted to kill him, but when he sucked her breast, he pulled out her life. That is the difference between the real Godhead and a God manufactured in the mystic factory. Krishna had no chance to practice the mystic yoga process. Yet he manifested himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead at every step, from infancy to childhood, from childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to young manhood. In this book, Krishna, all of his activities as a human being are described. Although Krishna plays like a human being, he always maintains his identity as the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Since Krishna is all attractive, one should know that all his desires should be focused on Krishna. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is said that the individual person is the proprietor or master of his own body, but that Krishna, who is the super soul present in everyone's heart, is the supreme proprietor and supreme master of each and every individual body. As such, if we concentrate our loving propensities upon Krishna only, then immediately universal love, unity and tranquility will be automatically realized. When one waters the root of a tree, he automatically waters the branches, twigs, leaves and flowers. When one supplies food to the stomach through the mouth, he satisfies all the various parts of the body.
The art of focusing one's attention on the Supreme and giving one's love to Him is called Krishna consciousness. We have inaugurated the Krishna consciousness movement to show that everyone can satisfy his propensity for loving others simply by directing his love toward Krishna. The whole world is very eager to satisfy the dormant propensity of love for others, but various invented methods like socialism, communism, altruism, humanitarianism, and nationalism, along with whatever else may be manufactured for the peace and the prosperity of the world, are all useless and frustrating because of our gross ignorance of the art of loving Krishna. Generally, People think that by advancing the cause of moral principles and religious rights, they will be happy. Others may think that happiness can be achieved by economic development, and yet others think that simply by sense gratification they will be happy. But the real fact is that people can be happy only by loving Krishna.
Krishna can perfectly reciprocate one's loving propensities in different relationships called mellows or rasas. Basically, there are 12 loving relationships. One can love Krishna as the supreme unknown, as the supreme master, the supreme friend, the supreme child, the supreme lover. There are 5 basic love rasas. One can also love Krishna indirectly in 7 different relationships which are apparently different from the 5 primary relationships. All in all, however, if one simply reposes his dormant loving propensity in Krishna, then his life becomes successful. This is not a fiction but is a fact that can be realized by practical application. One can directly perceive the effects that love for Krishna has on his life.
In the ninth chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, this science of Krishna consciousness is called the king of all knowledge, the king of all confidential things, and the supreme science of transcendental realization. Yet we can directly experience the results of this science of Krishna consciousness because it is very easy to practice and it is very pleasurable. Whatever percentage of Krishna consciousness we can perform will become an internal asset to our life, for it is the imperishable in all circumstances. It has now been actually proved that today's confused and frustrated younger generation in the Western countries can directly perceive the results of channeling the loving propensity towards Krishna alone. It is said that although one executes several austerity, penances, and sacrifices in his life, if he fails to awaken the dormant love for Krishna, then all his penances are to be considered useless. On the other hand, if one has awakened his dormant love for Krishna, then what is the use in executing austerities and penances unnecessarily?
The Krishna consciousness movement is the unique gift of Lord Chaitanya to the fallen souls of this age. It is a very simple method, which has actually been carried out during the last 4 years in the Western countries. And there's no doubt that this movement can satisfy the dormant loving propensities of humanity. This book, Krishna, is another presentation to help the Krishna consciousness movement in the Western world. This transcendental work of literature is published with profuse illustrations. People love to read various kinds of fiction to spend their time and energy. Now this tendency can be directed to Krishna. The result will be the imperishable satisfaction of the soul, both individually and collectively. It is said in the Bhagavad-Gita that even a little effort expended on the path of Krishna consciousness can save one from the greatest danger. Hundreds of thousands of examples can be cited of people who have escaped the greatest dangers of life due to a slight advancement in Krishna consciousness. We therefore request everyone to take advantage of this great transcendental literary work. One will find that by reading one page after another, an immense treasure of knowledge in art, science, literature, philosophy, and religion will be revealed. And ultimately, by reading this one book, Krishna, love of Godhead, will fructify. My grateful acknowledgement is due to Shriman George Harrison, now chanting Hare Krishna, for his liberal contribution of $19,000 to meet the entire cost of printing this volume. May Krishna bestow upon this nice boy further advancement in Krishna consciousness. And at last, my ever-willing blessings are bestowed upon Sriman Shamasundar Das Adhikari, Sriman Ramananda Das Brahmachari, Sriman Hayagriva Das Adhikari, Sriman Satsvarup Das Adhikari, Srimati Devahuti Devagidasi, Srimad Jadharani Devagidasi, Srimad Murali Dharada Das Brahmachari, Sriman Bharadwaj Das Adhikari, and Sriman Pradyumna Das Adhikari, etc., for their hard labor in different ways to make this publication a great success. Hare Krishna. Okay. Advent Day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, February 26, 1970, ISKCON Headquarters, 3764 Watseka Avenue, Los Angeles, California.
Haribo. A big Haribo. Amazing. Okay, so now we'll go into the introduction. Everyone can sing along together. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Raksha Mam. Krishna, 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 Pari Mam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Raksha Mam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pari Mam. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 7.96. While attempting to write this book, Krishna, let me first offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, Om Vishnu Pad 108 Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. Then, let me offer my respectful obeisances to the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, appearing in the role of a devotee just to distribute the highest principles of devotional service. Lord Chaitanya began his preaching from the country known as Gaudadesh, West Bengal, and as I belong to the Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, I must therefore offer my respectful obeisances to the disciplic succession of that name. This Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya is also known as the Brahma Sampradaya because the disciplic succession originally began from Brahma. Brahma instructed the sage Narada. Narada instructed Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva instructed Madhava Muni or Madhavacharya. Sri Madhavinda Puri, the originator of the Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, was a sannyasi or renunciate who belonged to the Madhavacharya disciplic succession. He had many renowned disciples such as Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, and Ishwara Puri Prabhu. Ishwara Puri happened to be the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us offer our respectful obeisances to Ishwara Puri, Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Sri Vas Pandit, and Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Next, let us offer our respectful obeisances to Swarup Damodar, who acted as the private secretary to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And let us offer our respectful obeisances to Sri Vasudeva Datta and the constant attendant of Lord Chaitanya, Sri Govinda, and the constant attendant of Lord Chaitanya, Sri Govinda. and the constant friend of Lord Chaitanya, Mukunda, and also to Murari Gupta. And let us offer our respectful obeisances to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami.
Krishna himself has explained in the Bhagavad-Gita that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that whenever there was discrepancies in the regulative principles of man's religious life and a prominence of irreligious activities, he appears on this earthly planet. In other words, when Lord Sri Krishna appeared, there was a necessity of minimizing the load of sinful activities accumulated on this planet or in this universe. For affairs of the material creation, Lord Mahavishnu, the plenary portion of Krishna, is in charge. Thus, when the Lord descends, the incarnation emanates from Vishnu. Mahavishnu is the original cause of the material creation, and from him Garbhodakshay Vishnu expands, and then Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Generally, all the incarnations appearing within the material universe are plenary expansions from Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Therefore, the business of minimizing the overload of sinful activities on this earth does not belong to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself. But when Krishna appears, all the Vishnu expansions join with him. Krishna's different expansions, namely Narayan, the quadruple expansion of Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, as well as the partial plenary expansions like Matsya, the incarnation of a fish, and the Yuga Avatara, that is, incarnations for the millennium, and the Manvantara Avatara, incarnation associated with the reigns of the Manus, all combine together and appear with the body of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the complete whole, and thus all plenary expansions and incarnations always live with him.
Therefore, when Krishna appeared, Lord Vishnu was with him. Krishna actually appears in order to demonstrate his Vrindavana pastimes, and in this way attract the fortunate conditional souls and invite them back home, back to order. The killing of the demons in Vrindavana was carried out only by the Vishnu portion of Krishna. The Lord's abode is described in the Bhagavad-Gita, 8th chapter, 20th verse, where it is stated that there is another eternal nature, the spiritual sky, which is transcendental to this manifested and non-manifested matter. The manifested world can be seen in the form of many stars and planetary systems, such as the sun and moon. But beyond this, there is a non-manifested portion, which is not approachable by anyone in this body. And beyond that non-manifested matter is the spiritual kingdom. That kingdom is described in the Bhagavad Gita as supreme and eternal, never to be annihilated. This material nature is subjected to repeated creation and annihilation. But that part, the spiritual nature, remains as it is eternally.
The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead Krishna is also described in Brahma Samhita as the abode of Chintamani. The abode of Lord Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of dust stone. There the trees are called desert trees, and the cows are called Suravi. The Lord is served there by hundreds and thousands of goddess fortune. His name is Govinda, the primeval Lord, and he is the cause of all causes. There the Lord plays his flute. His eyes are like lotus petals, and The color of his body is like that of a beautiful cloud. On his head is a peacock feather. He is so attractive that he excels thousands of cupids. Lord Krishna gives only a little hint in the Gita of his personal ego, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. But Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna actually appears with all his paraphernalia and demonstrates his activities in Vrindavan, then at Mathura, and then at Dwaraka. The subject matter of this book will gradually reveal all these activities.
The family in which Krishna appeared is called the Yadu dynasty. This Yadu dynasty belongs to the family descending from Som, the god in the moon planet. There are two different Kshatriya families of the royal order, one descending from the king of the moon planet and the other descending from the king of the sun planet. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, he generally appears in a Kshatriya family because he has to establish religious principles or the life of righteousness. The Kshatriya family is the protector of the human race according to the Vedic system. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Ramchandra, he appeared in the family descending from the sun god, known as the Raghuvanshi. And when he appeared as Lord Krishna, he did so in the family known as Yaduvanshi. There is a long list of the kings of the Yaduvansh in the 9th canto, 24th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. All of them were great, powerful kings. Krishna's father's name was Vasudev, son of Shurasen, descending from the Yadu dynasty. Actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not belong to any dynasty of this material world, but the family in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears becomes famous by his grace. For example, sandalwood is produced in the states of Malaya. Sandalwood has its own qualifications apart from Malaya. But because accidentally this wood is mainly produced in the states of Malaya, it is known as Malayan sandalwood. Similarly, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, belongs to everyone. But just as the sun rises from the east, although there are other directions from which it could rise, so by his own choice the Lord appears in a particular family, and that family becomes famous.
As explained above, when Krishna appears, all his plenary expansions appears with him. Krishna appeared along with Baldeva, who is known as his elder brother. Balrama is the origin of Sankarsana, of the quadruple expansion. Balrama is also the plenary expansion of Krishna. In this book, the attempt will be made to show how Krishna appeared in the family of Yadu dynasty, and how he displays his transcendental characteristics. This is very vividly described in Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically the 10th canto, and thus the basis of this book will be the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
The pastimes of the Lord are generally heard and relished by liberated souls. Those who are conditioned souls are interested in reading stories of the material activities of some common man. Although similar narrations describing the transcendental activities of the Lord are found in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas, the conditioned souls still prefer to study ordinary narrations. They are not so interested in studying the narrations of the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and yet the descriptions of the pastimes of Lord Krishna are so attractive that they are relishable for all classes of men. There are 3 classes of men in this world. One class consists of liberated souls, another consists of those who are trying to be liberated, and the third consists of materialistic men. Whether one is liberated or is trying to be liberated or is even grossly materialistic, the pastimes of the Lord Krishna are worth studying. Liberated souls have no interest in materialistic activities. The impersonalist theory that after liberation one becomes inactive and need not hear anything does not prove that a liberated person is actually inactive. A living soul cannot be inactive. He is active either in the conditioned state or in the liberated state. A diseased person, for example, is also active, but his activities are all painful. The same person, when freed from the diseased condition, is still active, but in the healthy condition, the activities are full of pleasure. Similarly, the impersonalists only seek to get free from the diseased conditioned activities, but they have no information of activities in the healthy condition. Those who are actually liberated and in full knowledge take to hearing the activities of Krishna. Such engagement is pure spiritual activity.
It is essential for persons who are actually liberated to hear about the pastimes of Krishna. That is the supreme relishable subject matter for one in the liberated state. Also, if persons who are trying to be liberated hear such narrations as the Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, then their path of liberation becomes very clear. The Bhagavad-Gita is the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam. By studying the Gita, one becomes fully conscious of the position of Lord Krishna. And when he is situated at the lotus feet of Krishna, he understands the narrations of Krishna as described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya has therefore advised his followers that their business is to propagate Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means narrations about Lord Krishna. There are two Krishna Kathas, narrations spoken by Krishna and narrations spoken about Krishna. The Bhagavad-Gita is the narration or the philosophy on the science of God, spoken by Krishna himself. Srimad Bhagavatam is the narration about the activities and transcendental pastimes of Krishna. Both are Krishna Katha. It is the order of Lord Chaitanya that Krishna Katha should be spread all over the world, because if the conditioned souls suffering under the pangs of material existence take to Krishna Katha, then their path of liberation will be open and clear. The purpose of presenting this book is primarily to induce people to understand Krishna or Krishna Katha, because thereby they can become freed from material bondage.
This Krishna Katha will also be very much appealing to the most materialistic persons, because Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, cowherd girls, are exactly like the loving affairs between young girls and boys within this material world. Actually, the sex feeling found in human society is not unnatural, because this same sex feeling is there in the original personality of Godhead. The pleasure potency is called Srimati Radharani. The attraction of loving affairs on the basis of sex feeling is the original feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we, the conditioned souls, being part and parcel of the Supreme, have such feelings also, but they are experienced within a perverted, minute condition. Therefore, when those who are after sex life in this material world hear about Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, they will relish transcendental pleasure, although it appears to be materialistic. The advantage will be that they will gradually be elevated to the spiritual platform. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is stated that if one hears the pastimes of Lord Krishna with the gopis from authorities with submission, then he will be promoted to the platform of transcendental loving service to the Lord, and the material disease of lust within his heart will be completely vanquished. In other words, such hearing will counteract material sex life.
This book, Krishna, which is filled with Krishna Katha, will thus appeal equally to the liberated souls and to persons who are trying to be liberated, as well as to the gross conditioned materialists. According to the statement of Maharaj Parikshit, who heard about Krishna from Shukadeva Goswami, Krishna Katha is equally applicable to every human being, whatever conditions of life he is in. Surely, everyone will appreciate it to the highest magnitude. But Maharaj Parikshit also warned that persons who are simply engaged in killing animals and in killing themselves may not be very much attracted to Krishna Katha. In other words, ordinary persons who are following the regulative moral principles of scriptures, no matter in what condition they are found, will certainly be attracted, but not persons who are killing themselves. The exact word used in Srimad Bhagavatam is Pashugna, which means one who is killing animals or killing himself. Persons who are not self-realized and who are not interested in spiritual realization are killing themselves. They are committing suicide because this human form of life is especially meant for self-realization. By neglecting this important part of his activities, one simply wastes his time like the animals. So he is a Pashugna. The other meaning of the word refers to those who are actually killing animals. This means persons who are animal eaters, even dog eaters, for they are all engaged in killing animals in so many ways, such as hunting and opening slaughterhouses. Such persons cannot be interested in Krishna Katha.
So, my dear devotees, that concludes our 1 hour of reading Krishna book to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for letting us come and start the first day of Purushottam Mass with you by reading your Krishna book. As we always do, let us offer respectful obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and to each other. Nama Om Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-Vedanta Swamini Chinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Paskachari Satarane, and to each other. Vanchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Book, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.